superb owls. So I was looking up different owls to draw. I think they're all good. Hang on. I was thinking of, oh man, this happens sometimes. My desk is uneven. Hang on. Okay. All right. I think we're going to do a barred owl. I saw that was pretty cool. You know what I haven't done, which is like a pretty iconic owl image, and I'd say it's pretty superb, is like an owl in flight. So let's do that. It's going to be, we're going to have to start with a bit smaller head. We can fit an owl standing better than we can fit. Okay, so I use hey Birdman, I use a gooseneck. So it's just like it's like a clip that holds the phone, and then it's just like a big black bendy, pretty hard to bend thing that you like clamp onto something else. So then I just have like an old shelf sitting in front of my desk here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I did these. It was Odd Fudd's birthday yesterday, so we went on a date. So I did my nails. And then you can clamp it to anything. They're not expensive and they work pretty good. They don't last forever. And like they're not freestanding, so you do need something to like actually clamp them to. But that's the okay, so if that's the head, we'll do that for the head. This is like the body. The legs will be like here, but we're not really going to see the legs. And then the wings will be here. So owls fly almost silently, which is so cool. Most birds make noise when they fly. Oh, take care, Birdman. Thanks for stopping in. But because owls are nighttime predators and they attack from relatively low on the ground, like close to where the prey is, they fly silently. They've evolved to fly silently. And they actually do this. The edges of their feathers are feathered, we would call it. But they like they don't have hard edges or close cropped edges. And not these feathers, although these ones do, but they're flight feathers, so along their wings here. I'm just realizing now that by choosing to draw the owl with its wings out, I've kind of committed to drawing a bunch of individual feathers. That's all right. It'll just be a while. Let's sketch them in now. And then figure it out. So this part is kind of like a hand. And then it comes down to here, and this is just pretty close together. It doesn't get any crazy. Okay. So owls have like they can see really well in the dark, and part of that is because they have almost like saucer, like satellite dish eyes. It bounces all the light into them. I like Whenever I look up things about owls, I'm always like, geez, they're so crazy. So their eyes like are in the middle of these like saucer dishes. And it makes them almost look like they have like eyebrows. When I was in school, we have some local owls. And when I was in school, we would um, go on field trips and stuff. And you'd find owl pellets. And we had to like, one of the things we did in science class was dissect owl pellets. It was like a strange thing if thinking about it. Oh, yeah, this is in flight. So he'll have his legs, but they'll be this is their talons. Be like here and here. Okay. Beak relatively small. And let's get the eyes just a little bit more in place. I like that. I like that. Okay. We're going to have to do the feathers on the other side of the owl. I'm going to move that talon over. It's too far on the outside. There we go. And bring these feathers in. Okay, so the bottom of this wing. And then it turns into like a hand again. You see this side? There's the one up here. Oh yeah, I don't know. A lot of birds, maybe not a lot of birds. Some birds, when they're in flight, their feathers like this remind me of like hands. I don't know if that's because like I'm thinking about like Disney shows where they like turn this type of feather into a hand, or if it's just like so much we think like, oh, that's like human. Okay. So now a lot of this is just going to be kind of straight up into the wing. Oh, I don't want to smudge it, so I'll use my smudge paper. And this will be like the actual where it comes out of the arm. And that'll be like pretty solid. It's not using its flight feathers there, but it will be using its flight feathers for most of this. No, I'm not straight. Hi, Madis, but I'm not gay either. I would say pan is the closest thing that describes me. But I'm not thrilled about labels. Never have been. Uh, I grew up in a time when it was worse, which is seems weird. Um, but where it was like a scandal if somebody was, oh, my pencil ran out of lead. So I feel like a lot of owl wings have like stripes. So I think we're gonna have to come in and do like stripes, but let's save that for coloring. For the coloring section, let's, when we bust out the colored pencils, let's really nail down the shape of these individual feathers. I think that'll be more helpful. Okay. Yeah, I grew up before the word pan existed or described anyone. And so for a long time, I just preferred not to put a name to it. And I kind of still fall in that. Okay, this wing is starting to look really good. I like it. This is like the top of the wing, and then this is the bottom of the wing. So we're seeing like two different sides, and we're gonna have to address that. This line right here kind of will fade into there like that. I think, yeah, it'll because it'll become it's twisting. Right? So this is the top, and then this is underneath. So we'll have to okay. Yeah, I think that's coming together. I'm gonna do this side. I wish we could just go, but and we could technically. So one thing I've done is this is a longer wing than this one, so we're just gonna make it the same length. Then bust out a little ruler. What is this? From the tip to the end, and then from the tip to this one. So from the tip to the end, and from the tip to this one. Not a huge difference, but it feels like it. Is it just the top part? All right, we'll see. I really want this to be the same length, about the same length at least. Okay. Let's do the lines. Okay. So when I was first starting out drawing, this would have driven me crazy because it feels like it's so imprecise, and I would just want it to be right, and I would want it to look right, and I would want it to feel right pretty much right away. But like, we're not at the stage yet where it's meant to look and feel right. Like we're building the owl right now, the image of the owl. And in doing that, you start with some lesser, you know what? Like the with the parts. You don't start and go, you don't build a house and go, wow, it doesn't look like a painted house. You have to put the wood in, and then you have to put the sheetrock, and then you have to do, and sometimes it looks worse before it looks better. And so I try to remember that. I'm gonna clip this because I want to pull in this way. And because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to pull in this way to the right. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Okay. We're going to do the tail. Going to be very similar. We'll get some wings in there. I wonder if I could zoom out with the camera. I'd have to literally move the camera, so maybe we'll wait to do that. Okay. I'm going to bring the owl's body in and just make it so we're seeing it at more of an angle. We're going to bring the feet and we'll redo those up here. And I think that'll give it more of a in-flight feeling. Because with its wings out, we don't want it like standing on a tree branch and have its wings out. Let's have it like diving for some prey. So we'll bring its body up like that. We'll put the talons like here. Getting ready to grab whatever little mouse it's going after. Okay. And now for this, we got to get some feathers again. It's going to be pointy, pointy. Yeah, so I was saying before, the edges of an owl's feathers are like not straight, not a hard line. I would call it feathered, but that doesn't really make a good descriptive when we're already talking about feathers. But they kind of gradually fade, and by doing that, it makes their flight much more quiet. And so, like, if you were if you've ever been with in a place with a falcon or another bird, a seagull, for instance, and that you hear the seagull fly, it's like, and if you've ever been like outside at night, you've probably been where owls are flying, if there are local owls by you, and you didn't hear them at all because they are so quiet. I'm just gonna kind of make these a little bit more like that, kind of more, I don't know how to call it, less rigid, but more organic. I'm gonna kind of loosen these up a little bit. I feel like on the wings I got really rigid, and I think that worked for these here, like kind of but for this tail feathers, I kind of want to be a little bit looser because they like move. I was thinking about how birds use their tail feathers, right? And they like move them around to control little tiny aspects of their flight. Do one on this side. We'll do one on this side because that's the center line. Okay. Got one kind of out here. One here. Okay. I'm excited to do some coloring on this guy. I've been thinking, because it's titled Superb Owl, that we might do like crazy colors. But I don't know, maybe we'll just give them a crown or a tiara or something. Okay. I'm digging this owl. I think I'm getting pretty happy with them. Kind of making just kind of defining the body. And then the head. Superb owl. Oh yeah. Yeah, like a crown that is like, that might be a little off, but that's the right idea. Make it slightly smaller. This superb owl has a ring for a crown. I think it's not superb enough. I like the idea a lot, but I don't think it fits. I'd still do like a big gem though. This reminds me of like, I don't know, like Holy Roman Empire. Because I think it kind of reminds me of like a cardinal's crown, or what is that called with the hat? It's called something stupid. The cardinal's style or something like that. I don't know. Okay. Man, I saw did you guys see the Notre Dame no, not Notre Dame. The Louvre got robbed. And so they stole the crown from like the Empress Napoleon's wife, I think, Empress whomever's crown, and it's made of like gold, which is very soft, but it was also very thin. So it's they like they cut a hole in the box that it was in, and like reached inside and tried to pull it out, and it just like got bent all to hell. And so they recovered the crown. It's only missing a handful of gems. And it's all bent to hell. So they don't think they'll have to like completely redo any work to it. They think they can just unbend it. It's pretty neat. And it'll be like unbent and just missing some pieces from that time someone robbed it. Someone stole it, which is like adds to the history of the object. Okay. So I think like in classic cartoon logic, owls have yellow eyes. Now these eyes are not quite even. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna give them yellow eyes. And I know owls often have like really big eyes, but I don't know if that, like, I think that's more because of the saucer. Okay. And then I don't think their beak is yellow. It's more like a dark brown orange, but let's give it a little yellow tint. Gosh, I forgot to be using my anti-smudge. And then let's throw some yellow on the crown. Oh, actually, I should erase some of these lines here. Get them to be more, less sketchy. Let's just kind of go in. There we go. Okay. Then we'll go in with some brown and maybe some orange, and we'll get this to look pretty gold. Okay. Let's do the talons a little yellow too. I know the talons are like tawny, so they're not really the right color, but that's all right. I find this like this is like a pretty, it's sienna brown. It's like a little red, like a red yellow brown instead of I don't know, like a cooler brown. And I find it does pretty good for making something more gold, to like turning this yellow more goldeny. That with a little orange. Right. I'm gonna do the gem. This like red, like a ruby, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna color the right and left sides differently. Thinking about, and I'm gonna use the same colors on both. I'm gonna do them in different orders because I'm thinking about the like the facets of the gem and how they go together and how the whole thing catches the light. And I think by doing the colors in different orders, which like kind of changes how they show up, it'll still all be the same color, but it'll be kind of gemmy. And then I have some white, which we can try to create like a little shine. And then I have some like a white marker, which will also help us. We can throw like an actual shine on the crown and stuff. Okay. I'm going to try to get some real good yellow saturation here. And then we'll go in with the orange and make it golden. I feel like gold is such a complicated color to really get because so much of what we think of, or what I think of as gold when I think of trying to make it, is its reflectiveness. And so, like, any little change in its shape, because of its reflectiveness, really changes its color. Okay. Okay. So if we want to go classic, no color change owl, it's basically these colors, a little bit of black. I'm missing black, a little bit of black. Here it is. And a little bit of like yellow, a little bit of blue, just like a tiny bit to get the and it's just like camouflage, so it's a little boring to do, but I think I will do it. Let's give it a quick do. Okay. Sharpen this pencil and I'm gonna go for it. There we go. Okay. So a lot of stripes to break up. And it's like it is genuinely camouflage. So I'm leaving a lot of blank spaces because there's white to break up the. So I didn't know this. I learned it from like a fantasy novel, I think. But one of the important things of camouflage is to break up the light and dark of the subject because it's less like the colors and more the shape that causes like things and people to be able to recognize it. I think this is looking pretty accurate. And sometimes I accidentally turn the pencil and I get like a dark mark like that. It stinks. And as it gets down here, kind of merges into almost a line that goes across all of them. And that kind of does follow up into here. And then like the underside is almost, it's very white. So we can leave that. Kind of create some shapes in here that follow the twist of the wing. Do the same for this part, the above part. And that'll help us define how this wing actually looks. Okay, and we're still building it, so this is just the... But I think that looks good. This part is less important. It's less distinctive, the body, and it's mostly like a white gray. So you can kind of just hint at that. The face of this type of owl is like, it's just all, it's like both colors. It looks like they're dusted. It's hard to explain. It's almost checkered. I want to make sure this part looks like flying saucers, like saucers, because that's what it looks like. And then for this part, I don't even know. I want to just be like, I want to do them so that they follow the shape of the head. So we're getting information out of that. And we're kind of creating, we're reinforcing the three-dimensional shape of the head. Okay. But otherwise, I don't know. All right. And then same on the side. Fun, 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 fun. Let's do, we have like one of these here. I like that, I like that. And then here's like, a little bit more. I feel like it's like white stripes on the bottom part and the outside, and then brown spot stripes on the inside closer to the body. If I can try to... And again, I wish to try to convey the same information of the three-dimensional shape of the wing at the same time. I don't want it to just, like, this color can do double duty. Okay. I don't think that's bad. All right. Okay, so some places where I have outlines that I really want to reinforce, I'm going to come in with the brown that I already have out, and I'm just going to use it as if it was a black line, kind of create a little bit of shadow. Okay. It's like the side of the head here. And then into the body, we'll do that. Okay. Also feed into some of that depth. Let's do some of that red brown for the eye. We can even do a little black. Okay. I liked this owl. I thought this owl was fun. I would like to draw a different owl that is not in flight. I think that'll be more fun. Now I'm using the black loosely. I don't want to go too much with it, just to start to define some of these shapes and bring it all together. I find the black can really, I don't want to say save an otherwise weird drawing, but it can otherwise save it. It can save an otherwise weird drawing. Okay. I thought having these be kind of feathered would be with the ink would look good, but I don't think it does. So I'm going to go back to being solid lines on those. Wish I knew which side of the feather went over which side of which feather. I don't know if that made sense. Like, is this feather above or below that one? Is it perfectly next to it? Somebody was talking about how when you are starting out your journey as an artist, especially if you're trying to capture real things, it can be really overwhelming. Because questions like that, everything can be a rabbit hole. So, like, you learn human anatomy, and then you're like, well, that's great, but I mostly draw dogs or something, right? So then you learn dog anatomy. And, like, you're never going to know anatomy as well as you could. You could always know more. And so maybe you go, well, I won't learn anatomy. Let me look into something a little bit easier. I'll look into like color theory. But like you could go into color theory just as deep. And it can be hard to figure out where to start. It can be hard to figure out where to stop. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I feel like it is very hard, but you sort of have to do the surface level of everything a little bit. And you can always do a deep dive. But I was thinking about it like when you learn to play an instrument, you want to learn to play at least one song so that you can practice and you can get your hand positions right and you can get your breathing technique right, your lip, whatever the instrument calls for. But you're going to have to learn another song because if you only ever practice that song, you can't play the instrument. You can just play that song. And I think art and illustration, drawing especially, is like that, right? Should learn to draw something because then you can practice. But if you only ever practice drawing that one thing, then you're not like an artist or an illustrator, right? You're you don't illustrate, you draw that one thing. And maybe that's good, maybe that's fine, maybe that's all you need. But if you want to keep going, keep getting practice, you kind of have to skim the other information. Not a bad owl. This is more like the supreme owl instead of a superb owl. So we'll try one more. There's horned owl. I think that's a good one. Everyone knows what that looks like. There's the tawny owl. I think most owls look tawny. I was looking up an African owl. There's like the barred owl. Okay, let's look up the horned owl. I think that's a pretty popular one. Let me grab what's it called? Some reference images. There's also something, there's the harpy. Oh, a cartoon owl. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of cartoon owls are based on horned owls, so that works out. Okay. Let's do it. And also, hello, Elstephant. Elstephant? Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to go less on, I'm going to go more on vibes, which is how I draw most cartoon things. Okay. Okay. So I think classic cartoon owls make their face. They're looking like this, they don't look right at us probably. Okay, they don't have a nose because it's built into their beak, which I always think is weird. What did I do wrong with their eyes? This one's too high. Okay, we'll erase this guideline. And let's have him looking at us. Okay. There we go. Big bushy eyebrows, which are the horned owl's horn things. What is the side there? Why is like what am I doing wrong here? Just the back of his head? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It was just weird. We could have this be the back of him, right? Because of owls can turn their heads nearly 180 degrees. So like this could just be the back of the owl. And then the tail would be like this, and we wouldn't see the legs. And he'd be like looking over his shoulder, like, excuse you. And in order to make that really stick out, what we'll do is we'll make his shoulder here and we'll give this like a twist. I think that shows. All right, let's do this one again. What is so weird about, I think, you know what it is? I think owls don't really have, let's do a new piece of paper. I don't think owls really have necks. I think I've fallen for a classic trick of the owl. Like, if that's his head, then his shoulders are just like inside of the head. Okay, let's try this. Less like well, more like an ice cream cone instead of like I don't know. So I draw a lot of characters. You put a head, and then you do like a body. And then I was thinking an owl's body is kind of like that. And so I had drawn the owl like this, but I think it's more like this. And now we'll have him looking at us. Let's have him looking right at us this time. Give him his beak, little nose, big old eyes, some bushy eyebrows. A wing that's telling us like to pay attention to something or whatever. He's telling us a lesson. His legs, boppity bop bop, on a branch or whatever else, sit on. And then the tail, that'll be behind the branch. Yeah, now that is a cartoon owl. So yeah, I gave him a neck. Yes, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of freaky. Why do you have such a neck? What was he doing? That'll go into a tree. We'll make that a tree. Okay. Give him a big pupil. Gotta intake all that light. It's so dang dark. I see why it's so tempting to do glasses, right? Because their eyes are so preternaturally big that it makes you think of somebody wearing glasses. A good cartoon owl, I think. What is he telling us about? Oh, maybe he's telling us about the game plan. This is just somehow standing on a regular stand, but just on this branch. He's just got an easel balanced on the branch. And he's like, you see, there's X's. This X is you. And then these are their O's. There we go. I was thinking this is a blackboard, but it's probably a whiteboard. I guess even whiteboards are starting to be on their way out. You never know what technology is going to change and what is going to be something in your childhood or your life that turns out to be the thing that doesn't happen anymore, right? So when I was growing up, most classrooms had blackboards, and we had an expensive school, and still most classrooms had blackboards. There were some whiteboards, like in math class or other classes where they were going to be writing on the board constantly. Then there were whiteboards, but most other classrooms had blackboards, had chalkboards, which are terrible for people. They're not good for you. So it's good that they got rid of them. That's not bad. Little guy. All right. We've done a couple of owls. I think this one, that one. It's a slow day. I didn't think it was going to be a big day. It's the big day. Let's give a. Oh, man. Okay. So when I was younger, thanks, Hot Fud. When I was younger, I was fascinated by like hollows in trees like this. I thought they were so dang magical. I believed in a lot of magic as a kid, and I still do. But there's something about I'm a Mr. Owl. He reminds me of a genuine actor. Who's the guy who played? I don't know. It's somebody. All right. We could do an owl doing something else. We'll do another cartoon owl. I think we can, instead of pointing out game plans, it could be pointing out well, let's not have him pointing. We'll do a different owl doing something different. Huh. We did this guy flying and being mean. We did this guy teaching and being silly. Let's do one. Maybe putting. What is the definition of superb? Because I think of it as just kind of like super or really good, but it doesn't have a more specific definition. Because maybe that's the trick. Expressively splendid. Expressively was my problem. Impressively splendid, magnificent. Okay, yeah. So excuse me, Mr. Owl. Let's do like an owl queen. Okay, we're gonna stick with the cartoon owl. So I do like how that ice cream cone worked out. But we will do one from the side. This is where the beak will be. Nope, too big. That'll be the beak. Okay. This is one eye. That's the other. And this will be the crown. And it'll be like a queen's crown. So I'll have some spikes and then the like fabric on the inside that they have. And then like, I don't know, something up here, this kind of thing. You know, there's somebody has a crown. And one of these little balls is actually a ping pong ball. Like is an actual genuine ping pong ball in a real royal crown that they gold plated. I should look that up because that's a crazy fact. And I should do like a short or something from it. I've done like talons grabbing this gem because I think that's what an owl queen would have. Okay. The eyes are so rough. They like are make or break, and they're so doofy. I really like the eyes on the one I messed up, on the cartoon that I messed up. So like this owl looks terrible because their body should be here. And I was not good at that. Let's fix their eyes. Just fix it. But I like these eyes. So I messed up with the body. Here we go. Much better body. little Legos, talons, sitting on a branch or whatever. Okay. So how do I get some soulful eyes for the queen over here? Okay. Uh, bird wings are so funny because they bend very different. Um, they serve such a different purpose. So like it's kind of easy to draw cat paws or dog paws or whatever's. But I feel like with bird wings, especially if you want to make them look like they're doing something peoply, you just kind of have to do whatever you want. Like you can't be held to making it trying to look realistic. Anyway, let's give her a scepter. That's not how a scepter holds onto a gem. What am I doing? Literally has to be up here. Okay, gem, whatever, decoration. And then it goes behind the wing and then it comes out and it can just be regular. We'll move the thumb, quote unquote, to there. I should be using my slip sheet so I don't smudge. Okay. This is... Oh, we're seeing the talons for the first time here today anyway, from the side view. That's nice. Too much, too much. Bring it all in, bring it all in. It's not a hawk. We're getting long like a hawk. That's rude. We're trying to be a killing machine like an owl. Okay. I feel like it would look like chopped. I think it would look like that. Same with the talons, kind of whatever. I think cartoons are harder to draw than realistic things. They look simpler in the end, but I think to get them right, to get them to look good and look correct, I think they're ultimately harder. Okay, she's waving to her subjects. And give her a little bit of an eyebrow. Yeah, let's hit the crown. Let's lock in. I don't know what that is, like some sort of decorative pedestal type looking thing. And then that's some talons because they're an owl. And this will be the gem. Let's try to do slightly simpler. Okay. I think the basic shape of this owl's tail now is feeling right. It took me a couple tries. Okay. Oh my god. Everything just flew around. And then little green gems. Boom, 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 boom. Like sapphires or something. And then that'll be an emerald. Because emeralds are so pretty. And then this will be, I don't know, ruby. I feel like scepters often have a ruby. Let's grab some yellow. We'll do the first pass of what will become gold. Okay. Oh, I was thinking about this before and I totally spaced. What, like she's probably wearing some sort of garb, like a cape. We'll do we'll do a lining. It'll be like a royal red cape with like a lining of white feathery, not feather, that's weird, a white fur or something. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that'll be the white fur. Have some sort of gold clasp there, so I'll color that gold color. Let me erase the inside. Okay, and let's do this a nice dark red. Oh, I don't have a flat spot on this pencil. Take a little eraser where I doubled up. Actually, we can just color that all red a second time if we really want to. All right. I'm just hinting at a little orange to make, the gold a little orangier. Well, there you go. The superb owl. I'm just going to do an ink outline here and there, and then I'm going to call it a night. We got new neighbors, and they have a dog. They're actually in the building next door to us, but I hear their dog crying all the time. And it makes me really sad because I hate to hear a dog cry. Hey, Flame Sergeant. Welcome. Just doing some outlines on this superb owl I drew earlier. I mean, just now. Earlier, just meaning before. What is my problem? I drew a couple other owls. This one came out to be the best. I don't know. They all have their charm. And I was thinking about our new next door neighbor. I don't actually know if it's the new next door neighbor. Perhaps the new next door neighbor moved in, and that caused the dog who's been living there the whole time to start acting up. But anyway, we had neighbors move in, and now I hear a dog whining all the time and crying, and that makes me sad because I don't want dogs to cry. All right, it's just the crown left. There we go. Well, I missed a couple of spots because I am easy to trick. Okay. There we are. I'm going to do a tiny bit of erasure cleanup. Where the pencil, I think, is a little distracting. But I like to leave the pencil in there if it doesn't bother anybody. I find people really like it, especially, well, people have always liked it. I've heard people tell me how much they like it for a very long time, like forever. But lately, people are like, I like it because I know ChatGPT didn't do it. And I don't know if that's true. I think they might like it, and also they know ChatGPT didn't do it. But I'm not in the business of telling people what they like. It sounds like a terrible business. This is the tree branch she's sitting on. You know, I can't find my black pencil. I have this one, but it's not that good. I have like a really nice one somewhere that I would like to use. Oh, I found it. It's so far away. Okay. Thank you, Atfud. Yeah, I feel like I finally got there. For some reason I have na 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 stuck in my head. All right, this is my superb owl. This is the owl who's telling you what a diagram is. This is the um, religious leader owl. I think we did a pretty good stream. This owl, more realistic. My first ever cartoon owl, and then the cartoon queen owl. She's over here. I've been watching Traders, and is it Travis Kelsey's mom is in there? And it was so interesting to see how people treated her. All right, I'm really going to go now. I am enjoying just messing around, but I should eat, live my life. I wasn't even going to stream today, but I like to stream for days where weird things are going on because as a kid, I say weird things, I mean like culturally important things that not everybody is into. Because I, as a kid, really was not into them. So I would always find something to do, and one of those things would be to hang out in online spaces. And so it's nice to continue to do that and to give other people an online space to also hang out in. So if you like my owls, it'd be awesome if you subscribed. If you're here in the future and you made it through all my terrible owls and my quiet drawing, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed. All right. Good night. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. This superb owl will see you soon. Goodbye. Woo-hoo.